Welcome back to the Dragon's Flame, your deep dive podcast into the Wheel of Time. Today we're breaking down the jaw-dropping Season 3, Episode 8, Betrayals, Breakthroughs, and Power Plays. Siuan rises and falls. Sammael taken out by the shadowy Moghedien. Nynaeve unlocks her true strength in Tanchico. Rand severs ties with Lanfear, but forms a mysterious new bond with Moiraine. And yes, he unleashes fury on the Aiel. Plus, Elaida grabs a white tower in a move that shakes the Aes Sedai to the core. Stick around, we're breaking it all down like balefire through the pattern. Let's go.
Oh, there we go.
All right, y'all. Sorry about that. It always takes a minute for me to find all the buttons I need to push. But anyway, Erica, you're donning a new look. What's going on? I said, Erica, my bad. Bearer of men.
Hold on, y'all. Let me get this headphone on.
While she does that, Elia, do you want to break down today's title?
All right. While Bearer of Men is getting to the perfect spot to get that perfect lighting, he who comes with the dawn. In this last episode, as we finally have arrived to the end, we have our Karen Rand, who has shown up at dawn to show up and show out and challenge an imposter who is claiming they are the Karen. In this episode, there are a lot of things that the wheel has full potential.
Okay, all right. So in today's episode, the last episode of the season, it begins with a flashback where Elaida is returning from the Red Arches, which Alviarin, a white Aja, who is driven by logic, proclaims as reckless. She wants to know what the Eilfin promised her. It's clear Alviarin promised Elaida her vote. All right, so real quick, some simple questions. What's on Elaida's hand? Does anybody know what's on Elaida's hand?
You talking about the key?
Yes.
You're on mute, E.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I saw it. It looked like a key. But I was wondering like what kind of key it was.
Okay. Elia?
So did she come? So I'm not certain what it was Elaida had on, but I'm wondering, is it something she went in with or something she came out with? Maybe I missed it. So I'm not certain.
So we didn't see her go in, so we don't know whether it was something that she earned, similar to what happened with Matt. Not really certain about that. It could have been, I don't know, maybe it was something that would let her know whether her time was near or not. Not really certain. Who knows?
She the devil for certain.
Yeah. So the white Aja tells her that her actions were reckless. Were they?
I think it was.
Thing to do with that key. No, I'm not.
Oh,
What'd you say?
It wasn't on mute.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
Oh, it delayed. I was saying that it seemed like it could have been something that like a dark friend gave us.
Okay.
Because how are you being reckless with the key in general? Like, why aren't you supposed to have it? Or why aren't you supposed to be moving around like that?
Was the question, was she being reckless with the key, or was she just being reckless in general with her actions, with going to see I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to butcher the name.
The Eilfin.
So I just based on the context that I got, I think Elaida was definitely being reckless simply because as our Aes Sedai that has the logic said, like, okay, many who have gone through here did not come back. So whatever it is that's inside of Elaida, the cost outweighed the benefit outweighed the cost. Just a sheer, I'm gonna risk it. Doesn't matter. There's something that I want, and I'm going in here regardless. Kind of like a genie with 3 wishes. I'm gonna try it just because of how I'm built. I do think it was reckless because you absolutely could have not came back. And your thirst for power overshadows logic.
You kind of answered my next question. So I was like, why would a white sister tell her that? And basically you just said it. Like, if you're about to become the Amyrlin the very next day, then it makes no sense that you would go through the red arches, and for what? You might die. Like, none of it made sense. Also, we got a comment from Karis Sadai. She says, someone should tell Rand not to tell its right hand what the left is doing. Any thoughts about that?
Biblical undertone. Yes. I guess Rand is talking too much. Pillow talking for certain with Lanfear. Poor Gwen. That's a whole nother issue. But I don't disagree with you, Karis, and I hope I didn't say that wrong. Sadai. Yes, he needs to be quiet. But he's a Karen. He got that arrogance and confidence all married together.
Yeah. Erica, your thoughts?
You can move the wagon, yeah. You can move the wagon over the passenger.
Okay. All right. So let's move. Lyanna, the sitter, interrupts Siuan as she is writing letters of support to leaders to help Rand. She tells Siuan she must call for a vote from the White Tower. This would, of course, lead to her explaining how she knows Rand is the Dragon Reborn. Elaida and Galena shares this knowledge with Alviarin. Question: why doesn't Siuan heed her advice?
Telling the sisters about what's going on so that they pleading with them.
Correct.
I think she kind of knows that they're not going to believe it. Their minds are made up already. And it also felt like she gave up.
What do you mean by that?
About giving up?
Yeah.
I feel like when she found out that her boo was gonna die, or she's never gonna see her again, she kind of sacrificed and let go. Because, like, what did she do all this for?
Okay. All right. Oh yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Bear of Men, because that kind of goes back to my point. Love Siuan, love her character, but as the Amyrlin seat, that's problematic. That's part of what makes her weak, is the fact that her love for Moiraine would overshadow, her position. And so I feel like ultimately there was, a little bit of her downfall. But to go back to the question, kind of letting everybody in on what was going on, I don't disagree with Bear of Men. I do think she kind of checked out just a bit, but I don't think she had the confidence that they would support her in it. And so, why even bother with it? They're not going to agree. They're not going to want to have us support the Dragon Reborn, because how everything is wired is we need to cage him. That's it. No, this is what we know. This is what we've been told. And now you switching it up on us? No.
Okay. All right. Bear of Men.
I feel like it's just exactly her. I think it's exactly what we stated, like with the despair. But I just read a comment that said that they were grossly underestimating Elaida. I think they knew it was a problem when they left Elaida in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they always knew it was going to be an issue.
Okay. I do have a question. How is it that Elaida and Galena have this knowledge? How do they know that Siuan is writing these letters to all of these different kingdoms, trying to get their support for Rand?
That again makes me feel like she's working with a dark side. Like, where is this source of power coming from? Like, who are you? Like, all because she didn't die don't mean she wasn't a dark side. I'm not convinced.
Let
Okay.
me be clear. It's a tower full of bitches. Bitches gonna talk. Let's be clear. Which is why I never, ever, and because of my fights and everything else, would never want to live in a sorority house. Never. Never. Never, ever. And so there's no secrecy. There's no, what's the word? Discretion.
They gonna tell all your business.
There's gonna always be a mole. There's always gonna be a mole. And so even though I can't identify exactly who it is, with their mouth, somebody talking.
Somebody gonna quit, somebody gonna rap, somebody gonna tell everybody to leave up.
Okay. All right.
If we have more men in the tower, we might stand a chance.
Well, I did ask that question for a reason. Hopefully, my hope is that we're gonna find out why. I do know the reason. I do know the why or the how of it. I'm trying to see. Karen says, "Will that little key on Elida's bracelet open the chest in Siuan's desk?" Okay, that is an excellent question. That's going back to the books.
You said, will it open what?
Will the key open the little chest on Siuan's desk? Okay. All right. So next, we learned that Sammael is still alive. So that was like a big thing for me. Like I had absolutely no clue. I thought the dude had died. When Moiraine visits him, he still wants to kill Rand or lose Theron, which however you want to name him. Moiraine proclaims he won't, but instead he'll teach Rand. Otherwise, she will bury him. This is my question. How did Moiraine learn to tie off a shield on Sammael?
So I'm wondering, because she had been working with Lanfear.
He's a dark friend too, right?
Who?
The guy who's supposed to train him.
Correct, he is.
I'm wondering if it's Lanfear, of her initially working close with Lanfear, for the, I guess, greater good, if you will. If Lanfear let her know how to subdue him, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was Lanfear.
Yeah, that was my assumption. But then my question, this would be my natural question. If so, then why is it that Moiraine didn't use it on Lanfear?
I think it's something new that she got from that ball.
Okay.
Again, she still could have used it on Lanfear.
So would you raise another question? Is there more she needed from Lanfear? I'm wondering.
When did she see Lanfear again? When she had, so she did see Lanfear again when she had the ball?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it is. All right, so let's move. One of the Black Ajas, so right now we're in Tanchico. One of the Black Ajas, Siuan, Genie, whatever we want to call her, was playing with a rod that produces balefire until Liandrin forces her to put it down. Moghedien hands Liandrin the second bracelet. This is my question. This is like a wonder. Why does Moghedien give the bracelet to Liandrin? Hell yeah.
So okay. So when Lanfear came in, she originally had okay. So now I'm intrigued because then she slipped away into the bracelet, gave it to Liandrin. So I'm wondering if she was going to see or trying to just see how Liandrin would handle herself. Because once the scene kind of plays out with the two of them, Leandrin's like, oh, I know that you're the weaker or whatever, but you need someone weaker than you. So I'm wondering if she just wanted to see how she would handle herself when given that bracelet. Will she humble herself and try to still be part of the chosen, but as less than Moghedien? I don't know. Moghedien is always weaving these tangled webs. So there's just no telling what her true intentions are, but I don't know. I think she's intrigued by Liandrin and her thirst to be a part of the team.
I like that you said that. I like that you said that you kind of said something about her weaving these webs. But part of me believes that somehow this is a part of some plan for her.
What do you mean?
I think she's trying to kill Lanfear.
Okay. So this is what Kara Sedai says.
Really powerful. Even though I think that Lanfear is scared of the other girl, the web girl. I think that when it comes to the web girl is just ready to kill her. I think she's just ready to get rid of her.
Okay. So Karis Sedai says this. I think Moiraine reasoned it out after her power was taken because she was shielded by Ishamael. Elia?
Okay. So she reasoned out how to subdue Ishamael? Is that what we're getting from Karis Sedai's comment? I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly.
I'm assuming what Karis means is that Moiraine, because she didn't have any time, she was trying to figure out how to unshield herself, and so she reasoned out how to shield or tie a shield on a Forsaken. I'm assuming.
I don't know. Somehow, some way, Karis Sedai, I still feel like Lanfear has something to do with it because simply because how it plays out with her and Ishamael, clearly he's not been on her team in the past, right? And so how all of that played out just makes me feel like, okay, look, you done turned me down a couple of times in the past or whatever feelings you have about me and Rand. You're not playing for my team. So I have no loyalty to you. My loyalty is to myself. So if I need to give up the game to Moiraine to have her subdue you, then that's what I'm going to do. Again, could be totally wrong. Totally wrong. But I just don't doubt that Lanfear had something to do with it.
So for me, it was just a question that I had. I have no answers for that. Like, to me, it makes no logical sense for Lanfear to give her that ability. Okay. What you got?
Okay. I was agreeing with you. My bad.
In processing.
No, it was just I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue as to how she got it, how she got that ability, or if it was maybe one of the Aiel. Karis Sedai says, I don't think Lanfear wants to teach Moiraine anything about channeling to keep Moiraine ignorant. Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's move on. In Egwene's dream, Lanfear joins Rand and tells him Sammael is there to teach him. Rand baits Lanfear until Egwene shows up and gets rid of her, meaning Lanfear. It was a trap to try to kill her, but Lanfear doesn't fall for it. This is my question. Does Egwene now know why Rand was sleeping with Lanfear? Hell yeah.
I don't know if he knows why. I mean, if Egwene completely knows why he was sleeping with Lanfear, because I don't think you were just that into the mission to where you're just doing every single thing. You seem like you enjoyed it. So I don't know.
She seemed like she enjoyed what exactly?
No, Rand seemed like he enjoyed everything that he was doing with Lanfear in the dream state. I don't know that his acting skills are that great to where everything it was just pretend.
No, my question is, does Egwene now know why Rand was sleeping with Lanfear?
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. So I still don't know. My answer remains the same. I still don't know. Because on Egwene's side, okay, you still seem like you're enjoying sleeping with her. Doesn't seem like there's this huge plot to kind of take her down. And are you that good of an actor to where none of this is real? And especially with the past that Lanfear and Rand have. So I don't know if anything has become completely clear for Egwene as it pertains to the two of them.
Erica? Bear of Men, excuse me. Sorry. I think she's having technical difficulties.
Slight
delay. All right, so let's move. In Tanchico again, Nynaeve, Matt, Min, Elaine, and Tom all meet in front of the Panarch's palace to follow Liandrin to find the collar, the last piece needed to control land. Moghedien finds Sammael. He tries to bargain with her to agree to work together to take down the other Forsaken. This is my question. Why doesn't Moghedien accept his offer? Elia?
Moghedien, she already knows that they feel like that she is the weakest of the Forsaken. What do I stand to gain by locking forces with you when I have other forces at play? So I feel like for Moghedien, it's absolutely pointless. You have no value to me at this point. You're already subdued. You basically, Moiraine is knocking you off the chessboard, so you're really a non-factor. So at this point, I'm just here to F with your head. I don't need you. So there's no what is it that I want to say? There's no benefit to me locking forces with you at this point. No.
Okay. Bear of Men? Okay, so let's move. Ruark, the clan chief, tells Rand he cannot tell the Aiel they descend from the way of the leaf. Avienda tries to make Wayne think twice about Rand, asking if he is worthy of her strength. This is my question. Is Rand worthy of Egwene? Elia?
It's a no for me. It is an absolute no for me. I don't even have to think about it. At this point, I feel like it's more so that thing that is familiar as opposed to all out, we're in love and can't do life without one another. And Egwene, she's still kind of uncovering who she is and all of the strength and power that she wields. And so I don't see where it would be a beneficial relationship at this point. Too much has transpired. So no, I don't think he is worthy of her strength. You know, if you Rand, you done did a little too much. You did. So at this point, I don't think it's beneficial. I'm moving around. I've seen too much. When I saw y'all kissing on that rock, it was a done deal for me. It was a done deal for me.
So that's why I asked the question if Egwene learned what Rand was doing, and I want to caution y'all. So like all the way back in season 2, it was Moiraine who basically said you got to do it. You've got to do this. This is the only way. Number one, she won't kill you. She won't kill me. This is going to protect all of us. If you make her believe you love her. I don't know if you remember that. She specifically said you have to make her believe that you love her. And what did she want? She wanted to seduce him. So what could Rand do at that particular point in time? He went along with it. If he didn't do it, a lot of things would have rolled in the other direction. And so that's why I wanted to know whether or not Egwene at that particular point in time when they tried to trick Lanfear, whether or not she knew at that particular point, because at this point they're trying to kill her. So why not tell Egwene, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
at this point, she understood the play, and it wasn't just, oh, okay, I'm not in love with you. I'm playing the long game.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. All right. So let's move. So Couladin wants to be named the Carcarn. Lanfear puts the marks of the shadow on both of his arms. All right. So this is my question. Was Lanfear helping Rand, or was she attempting to hurt Rand by doing this? Was she helping Rand, or was she attempting to hurt him by doing this?
See, for me, that's you can look at it both ways. And I hate to be a fence straddler. Okay, so I can look at it at, okay, no, she's trying to screw over Rand because she's scorned and she's done with him. He done played her. So now I'm about to put this person out there, make you look stupid. Okay. Or you can look at it like, all right, in order to get him to rise to the occasion, I got to make him feel uncomfortable. I have to put him in a situation where there's going to be this huge display of power. You're going to go against what you're supposed to do about going through Ruidian. I hope I'm saying it right and on the right track. But anyway, and giving up the game about them being the people of the leaf or whatever. And so I'm forcing you to have this huge display to where you have no choice but to have the prophecy come true.
Okay. All right. So that's really where I was going with this, because in her anger to hurt him, all she really did was set things in motion for him to do and become what he was really supposed to become, because he was standing there and by the way, like her insertion into the story on the TV show is not what happened in the books. So her doing what she did actually set him down the path that he was supposed to take anyway. And so that's why I asked that particular question. So excellent. I'm glad you caught that. And Kara Sadai says Couladin is such a punk.
Right. He wasn't even believable.
What do you mean?
And then you got all them people up there like, oh, you just heard Carcarn and you got excited. And now they're all confused, like, wait, what? We got another champion.
Okay. All right. So good. So let's move. In Tanchico, Elaine and Tom catch up. Tom tells her Gabrielle has not been her mother's consort for all these years. When Jane, whatever, uses the Balefire shooting rod on them, Matt discovers the Red Arch and is delivered to the Eelfin. Nynaeve finds the collar. Tom attempts to sacrifice himself, but Elaine comes from behind to attack Jane and gets the rod to kill her and erases her from the pattern altogether. The Eelfin takes the voices and memories from Matt, but gives him a necklace, and he is dangling from a rope, just as men predicted. I had a particular question in mind at that particular moment, and so my question is: would I have struck a similar bargain if I were Matt? And in that particular position, I don't know if I could have done that in that particular moment. It depends. Part of me wants to say that, yeah, I would have, but then another part of me says, no, I wouldn't have. I guess it would have depended on the circumstances and how those circumstances would have affected me and or the people that I love. And then the next question that I had was,
wait.
Oh, okay. So you're back?
The next question. I feel like it was one of those genie traps with the elephant. And so that's what it reminded me of. Like, okay, genies or jinns, depending on what culture you go with, are extreme tricksters. And so at first, Matt doesn't even know what the hell is going on. He's just talking. And, the elephant is like, it is done. And I'm like, whoa, what? He doesn't even know what's happening. And so by the time he gets to the end, you're you at your third request. You said no terms. You don't know who this is. You're in the blind. And so to me, that was like, okay. I love stories about gins and stuff like that. So it just made me feel like, oh no, poor Matt. He always gets the raw end of the deal. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents about the gins and how the elephant and gins kind of parallel for me. And and Matt making that decision to me was kind of an impossible position to be in.
So Karen says it's a good thing he asked to leave. It's an excellent thing. But you know, Matt is lucky. Matt, out of everyone on this series, is
serendipitous. He's serendipitous. Yes. You asked to leave, but you were like went straight into death.
But it was a good thing that Min was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, had she not been there, he would have died. Now, by the way, like if you've read the books, and I'm assuming, Karis, you've read the books, you know that is not what happened. First off, it was Matt that was with Rand, and this happened much earlier in the storyline. And how do I say this? The inputs were different, but the outcomes were the same. In this story, if you will, the inputs were different, but the outcomes were the same. He survived. Yes, he had the little fox medallion, if you will. But to me, it was almost as if it didn't, like, all of these different storylines were like stacked on top of each other, and every storyline had a climax to it, and it was beautiful just to see it unfold. I don't know if you felt that.
First of all, I'm mad that I waited so long and I only got to watch it once, but there was so much happening, and I am going to watch it again before we do our Monday show of the entire show. But there was so much happening, but I agree with you. Like, I don't think there was an anticlimactic moment. I just don't. This episode, like, for me, I'm like, oh my God, there was more battling. You know, that we have these individual storylines going on. It was so much happening to where I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Like, just well played. And then when it ended, I was like, wait. Is you for the dark or the light? You know, so yes, I agree with you. I'm sorry. It was a long way of saying I agree.
So Karis Sadai says, I don't know why, for some reason, like, I gotta say Karis Sadai. Like, I've got to say it. Like, I can't just say Karis. Anyway, she said, did you peep the possible, and I'm gonna mispronounce this, Ashandara? The rope was hanging off of it. So I don't even know what that is. So thank you for pointing that out. I gotta watch it again to figure out what that is. And if you could, in the comments, just kind of like peep us to the game. But until she does that, I have another question for you. So the storyline between Tom and Elaine, would you have sacrificed yourself in the way that Tom attempted to sacrifice himself for Elaine?
So the short answer is yes, because it's essentially what he was trying to do. Like, even though he was kind of removed from that, I feel like there was some type of oath there, and you saw this person as a child. Like, that connection, I guess, hasn't been broken. And so, yes, he's seen a lot, he's done a lot. So at this point, okay, I've already signed up to come on this journey. Why am I here? Cool. Let me show up. Let me do what I need to do. And why not do it for the person that I had a lot to do with since they were a child? Why not? And so I liked him. I really did. He was cool.
Yeah. Now I will say this. So we've seen Tom Maryland in every season, but he plays a much more significant role in the books. That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on. Liandrin and Nynaeve find each other in front of the Panarch's palace. Nynaeve attempts to appeal to Liandrin's humanity. Liandrin takes the collar, shackles Nynaeve, and attempts to drown her. Nynaeve, while underwater, hears that her daughter is frightened, and something else clicked within her. This is my question. Psychologically, Nynaeve has been blocked from channeling at will. But now, she seems to have control. what dam burst open for this miracle?
For me, Nynaeve was backed into a corner. And as we see oftentimes, okay, like she can show up when she needs to. But this one was so extreme to where you had nothing else to do, nothing else to lose. You were already essentially dead. And so at this point, I have to show up. And hearing your daughter or whatever, okay, this is the motivation that I need. And I'm not going to let Liandrin win because she really thought she did. And so I was a little concerned, though. I was a little concerned for Nynaeve when she went in that water with them chains on and got anchored to the bottom. But I'm like, okay, here she goes. She departed the Red Sea.
She sure did. She sure did. Like you were Moses. Like, look at it.
I don't need my staff, but I got something else. Don't you worry. I'm coming for that ass, Liandrin. And I wanted to steal a little bit more because she tried to get that wench. And let me be clear. I still think Liandrin is a worthy villain. I love watching her work. I do. You love to hate this wench, but she plays the role so well. I like it. But hey, she tried to give her redemption. You're not so far away from the light, whatever. She tried to give her this little pep talk, elevator speech. So now I know when I run into you again, that grace and mercy that you got, you're not getting it again. You're not. So I was happy to be blocked.
So remember last episode I asked whether Liandrin was deserving of redemption? What are your thoughts now? I mean, you kind of told me.
Liandrin is you on Easter Sundays, you on Easter Monday. I don't chew because now you really are too far gone. Anytime you're gonna play with Nynaeve like that, then you said, okay, now you want to take the most powerful channeler in 1,000 years and wipe them off the map. You insecure, rat-faced, raggedy wench. You intimidated. You're intimidated by Nynaeve. And it shows. It shows. And so, no, now I feel like, no, you beyond redemption. You can't be saved. You did too much now. Anytime you're going to do what you did, you done. You could.
So Karis Sadai says, I thought she decided she needed to save herself so she can give birth to a daughter in the future. So for me, this is what I was thinking. So if you kind of sort of think about it, like the image that kind of came into or conjured into her mind, it was similar to how her parents died, right? It was similar to how her parents died. And so in order to save herself, save her daughter, she needed to overcome that block, right? And the block that she had was basically that hatred for Aes Sedai. And yet, in order to save herself, she needed that which she hated, and she had to let go of that hatred.
Come on, everybody! Overcoming childhood trauma, isn't that what therapy is about?
Mm-hmm. 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 That was just that was how I thought of it, and that's why I asked that question. All right, so let's move. So Melindra half-heartedly tries to kill Lan. She confesses Lanfear is there, then dies for failing to fulfill her dark oaths. Moiraine tells Rand he was right to get to the Aiel, to the Aiel to get the backing of the Aiel. Rand deduces Moiraine was working with Lanfear, and she answers honestly. But Rand thanks her. This is my question. When Rand thanks Moiraine, she's teary-eyed. What has happened between these two characters to cause such a shift in both of them? So basically, the shift is this. Rand is much more determined in what he has to do, and Moiraine is much more emotional. What shift has occurred between these two characters?
First of all, going through Ruidian, that's part of it. Both of them were humbled. And so I feel like that has a big part to play in this revelation that both of them are having. And Rand, as he's been going on this journey, is seeing like, okay, yes, Moiraine, I know you did X, Y, Z, but ultimately, as we've gotten to this point, I see this has done nothing but make me better and have me show up for who I'm supposed to be. Now with Moiraine, she stands to lose her life. She stands to lose her lover. There's a lot going on for her. So it doesn't surprise me that she is more emotional, because at first I'm just on a mission. It's simply, it's surface level. It's just that. But as things progress, I stand to lose more. So it doesn't surprise me that she's more emotional at this point, because I mean, seeing yourself die repeatedly has to humble you.
So okay, so I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree. I just want to add a caveat. So Rand is, for all intents and purposes, her relative. Okay, and she knew that. She knew that for quite some time. In addition, he has a huge role to play, and what no one is saying right now, if Rand is her relative, that means that Rand is of royal blood. It also means that Rand should have been the king of their little city, state, country, or whatever. Should have been. Okay. In addition to that, he's a Karkar. In addition to that, he's the shadow, the dragon reborn, right? All these different things, right? And he's the only person that can right the world. You know what I'm saying? And she had a hand in helping to make him who he was, despite her flaws, even though she was doing them with the best of intentions. And the fact that if no one else understood, he understood. That's what I got out of that particular moment.
I need to grow up. I love it. She says, I love that scene. That was a great scene.
I do have another question still on the same theme. Why does Rand allow Moiraine to face Lanfear alone?
Moiraine, in short, just like himself, has a destiny. She has a destiny. And I feel like going on that journey, and the Dragon Reborn, the Karn, all these things with Rand has taught him. We all have a destiny. The wheel weaves the way in which it weaves. Okay, cool. Moiraine is capable. She's aware of all of these things. So she's made up her mind. I'm going to respect that, because she's gotten me to this point. And like he said, you're the only person that literally didn't like change on me or give up on me, regardless of what I've done, regardless of what your intent was. You stay consistent. And so if this is something that Moiraine needed, I'm backing off. It's destiny.
All right. So next, Siuan and well, I want to say Lyanna so bad, were barred from the hall. When they got in, they learned Siuan has been deposed. She has been I can't read my own handwriting. She's been accused of being a dark friend to hide Rand, and both were stilled. In Tanchico, Moghedien confronts Liandrin. Liandrin tempts Moghedien by reminding her she is weak in the power, and it takes two women to control a man with an idam. Ravine, or Gabriel, and Lanfear discover Sammael is dead. Lanfear uses it to tempt Ravine to work together. This is my question. Did Lanfear somehow let Moghedien know where Sammael was so that Lanfear could use Sammael's death to her advantage? In other words, was she scheming inside of a scheme?
Was Lanfear scheming inside of a scheme?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't doubt it. Not for 1 second. Because Lanfear is, if I'm not mistaken, higher up on the totem pole, for one. Very powerful. So to me, she's always several steps ahead. I'm not surprised. She doesn't respect Moghedien. Look, here's something for you to play with. Here's something for you to do. I wouldn't be surprised if she was scheming inside of a scheme. That's about her MO. It's about her MO.
Okay. All right. So Amir says, if you mean Andor, it's a queendom. Only women can inherit the throne. Um, True. I misspoke. I meant that he was royalty. Karis Sadai says, I think this moment is like when you give birth and you gain insight into motherhood. Your mom treats you like an adult and you start to truly understand sacrifices your mom made.
Oh, with Rand and Moraine, like that.
Okay. All right. All right. So at Alcar Dal. I can't pronounce it. So Couladin and Rand stand off at Alcar Dal, while Lanfear and Moiraine stand off. Rand reminds them of the prophecies and shows his arms too. Rand, seeing no other option, spoke of what must not be spoken. Lanfear struck Moiraine from behind, and she loses the Sakarnan. Ruark pleads with Rand not to tell them, meaning the Aiel, he will destroy them all. Rand says, this is what I was born to do. He calls them all oath breakers. Turn your backs on me and you will die. Land strikes Lanfear. Rand uses the one power to bring rain. Land was beat back and Lanfear uses his sword to stab Moiraine. In a last-ditch attempt, filled with pain over the death of Siuan, Moiraine strikes Lanfear with the sword. Rand is declared the Karakharn. In the White Tower, Elaida conducts a trial for Siuan to answer her crimes. Siuan told her truth, declaring her love for Moiraine. Just as Moiraine was dying, Siuan gave the speech of her life. I defy you. Siuan was killed. So here we're just talking about those last few minutes of the show. It was too much going back to back. Couldn't really, decipher it any other way than to just recount it real quick and just say, let's talk. So what you got?
Okay. So there was so much going on. I'm gonna start with Siuan. I hated to see her go out like that. Wasn't surprised. She had some weaknesses, and so I wasn't surprised she went out like that. But I was happy that she stood her ground and was like, I defy you, Elaida Sadai. Was disappointed that Elaida just showed up the way that she did, but I wasn't surprised. Moiraine and Siuan's love story continues to play out even as Siuan takes her last breath. She is mentioning the love for her. The fact that Moiraine feels that, I was like, oh my God. It was a lot to kind of take in that scene. As far as Rand, oh, look at her. Okay. Ooh, let's pause right there for a second. She looks like she belongs on that throne, and she does. She'll be able to make a tough decision. She'll be able to do some of the things that Siuan would not, but still, she's still a son of a bitch for what she did. And look, just the beautiful cinematography in this entire show across the board did not miss, not ever. And thank you for these images. The battle scenes were everything that you needed. I was kind of happy to see Lanfear get her clock cleaned by Moiraine, because Lanfear is a powerful woman. She is, but I appreciated Moiraine. Like, okay, she has some battle strategy with herself as well, and we all love to watch Land work. And so, this was just, I couldn't have asked for more in a season finale, especially with the battles, the costumes, the makeup, all the things. I really did think Moiraine was done for, in which I do feel like she kind of died anyway when Siuan did. So yeah, I realized I kind of went all over the place just after looking at these images. But yeah, I was glad that Lanfear got a run for her money with Moiraine, but that wench still got away. She still got away. But I hated to see Siuan go, but I was surprised that she didn't go sooner, just based on kind of how she was was maneuvering as the Emerald Sea. I don't love how they did her, but the elevator speech at the end, I was here for it.
Oh, and like I said, she gave the speech of her life. I was like everything about it. It was like, number one, I'm going to declare my love for the one and only. I'm not supposed to love her, but I do. And what you gonna do about it?
and I am water, so guess what? Do what you gotta do. Do your worst, bitch. Do your worst. Okay.
And they tried, and look, someone I've been reading the book, like I'm already in book 6, and what they're talking about actually happened, I think, in book 4, I believe it was. And I was surprised to see that she had died. I was surprised. I was hurt. I was really hurt. I was not expecting it. I was actually expecting for Moiraine to die. They did a 180 on me. It was a complete and total 180 on me. Like it was unexpected. Right. But the way that she went out, it was so emotional. And your girl, despite how they wrote her character, your girl was excellent at her job. She was excellent at portraying Siuan. Even now, the book described her eyes as being cold. She had cold eyes. And that's what she had. That's what she had. And she could cuss better than anybody, any one of those Aes Sedai. And we didn't get to see her like really, really cuss, but you could tell that she had the spirit of a cusser. You know.
I can see it on her. See it on her.
Yeah. And she gave her all. It was so much, her speech, it terrified everybody in the room. Did you see? Elaida? It was like, how dare you? It was like, how dare, like she couldn't do anything.
I have nothing left to lose. Y'all have steeled me. Okay, I already know you're gonna sentence me to death. Right. Okay.
And then let me talk about Moiraine for a second. So Moiraine believed in her soul that she was supposed to die, and she was supposed to die. But in Siuan dying, that gave her some extra source of energy, and that energy was enough not only to save her life, but she also didn't kill Lanfear. I mean, came close to killing Lanfear, but based on what we see, we can't assume that Lanfear is dead. So it means that 2 pivotal characters are still alive in this story. So this story is about to go on in a way that the books did not describe. And so the only thing that I can assume, part of the reason why they're only going to show 8 Forsaken, is that a lot of the characteristics of the other Forsaken are going to live, in my mind, are going to live in Lanfear. And so that creates an interesting story here going forward.
And see, what you have just described is just great goddamn writing. This amazing writing, married with beautiful acting, amazing special effects. Like, I just was literally sitting with my mouth open in awe with these last few scenes as they close out this season.
Yeah, no doubt. And the last couple of episodes, I was talking about the fact that with Golden Eyes, they had climbed up to number 2, and now they're number 1. They're finally at number 1 after all this time. And I'm just like, finally, their swan song, no pun intended, but it ended well, I believe.
The battle scenes, and my goodness. Woo.
So Kara says, I love that she said Elaida stands for nothing.
It's true. It's true.
I defy you. I loved it.
We coming up in here worried about our carpets and drapes and shit, bitch. Fuck you. You don't stand for nothing. You stand for nothing but yourself and power.
Filth. So Kara Sedai says, I hope Moiraine saw the weave Lanfear used for traveling.
I'm sick of Lanfear, but also another villain that I enjoy watching.
So, and this is why I say, so Karis is talking about something that is learned a little bit later in book 6. This is when I believe the Aes Sedai learn about traveling. So, and it was actually Egwene that learned about traveling. This was something that was lost in time. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, Karis. So that. Any closing thoughts about this particular episode?
When is the next season coming? My brain is trying to Euro step there. Overall, I have nothing negative to say about how they ended the season out. I am curious if Rand is going to be for the dark or for the light, because at the very end, Gwen is like, stop, that's enough, and so it kind of keeps going and then it goes off. So I'm just curious how that's going to play out. Moghedien and Liandrin, I'm wanting to see if Liandrin is going to actually become one of the Forsaken or the Chosen or what have you, and how that whole dynamic is going to play out. I guess I have a lot of questions more than anything. But overall, this episode was extraordinary, almost impossible to kind of look away because it was so much going on. And then I wonder with Matt, after he's met with Elephant, like how things are going to go since he kind of cheated death a little bit. Like how that's going to go. So, yeah.
So if you had to rate this particular episode, how would you rate this episode?
Honestly, this episode would probably be a strong 8.5 or 9 for me. It's it's really difficult to keep my attention, and so with that, where I feel like I need to Google things, I need to replay things, if I need to do that, this is just some good doggone writing. I need to read the books. What's going on? But still, even without the book knowledge, just well written, well displayed on top of the writing, just the acting. Oh my goodness! And so, yeah, overall, the rating is almost at a 10 for me with the Wheel of Time for this season.
And I guess that's a good segue because we were talking yesterday, I believe it was, and we said that we wanted to recap the entire season. Don't exactly know when that will be. We originally said Monday, but not quite certain. So we will let you. She's giving her side eye because it was supposed to be somebody who was supposed to be with us and didn't join us, and so. We will try to figure that out. But this particular episode for me, it gave me all the thrills. Even though I was disappointed in Siuan's death, I would still give this particular episode a 9.5. It was moving, and it was moving in a way in which I could understand. It flowed. It made sense. It wasn't necessarily consistent with the book, but it doesn't always have to be consistent with the book, especially when it makes it better. And I believe that this episode put all of those pieces together in a way. I had some questions, and some of them we talked about today, but at the same time, it was excellent. It was an excellent season. It was just an excellent season, and this topped it off. The last 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of this episode rivaled the first 15 minutes of episode 1 of this season, and so I'm in a good place. I'm ready for next season.
If you rank that high with my lack of knowledge of the books, that makes me feel better for my rating. It does. And so I appreciate that. Now I'm like super excited. Like, okay, I'm not as dense as I think when it comes to Wheel of Time. Like, I still enjoy it, but there's always just so much happening to where, like, okay, I really need to read the books because there's a lot. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully Monday can actually happen. Put this off until Monday of next year. But I digress. I'm gonna stop right there.
Even if I have to lead it and it's just the two of us, we'll do it. We'll do it.
A twosome is cool. A threesome is great. A foursome is anything more is an orgy.
Okay, we got to bring Alana. Come on.
Yes.
Alana and Maxim.
My girl. My Aes Sedai. My green Aes Sedai.
And a parent for you.
Speaking of my green Aes Sedai, I got my fiance right there looking at me. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby, I love you.
Love you too.
So Karen said this is a different turning of the wheel. It's going to be different. Yes, it will. But hey, I'm excited for it. All right. Any closing thoughts? If not,
nothing else. I think we've kind of gotten in there.
yeah. Until next time, thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with all of your friends, especially on social media. Until next time, y'all have a good one.